Hello guys, Cedric here for a new tutorial. It's been ages since I last recorded a tutorial, but here I am. In fact, it's been ages since I did anything, but I'm just back with some Xparticle renders, some with like the cloth, some using Advection and the deforming the mesh, some more easier but fun to play to do with. I have had like an explosion recently that I meshed a meshed explosion rather than using the smoke. I've done this also using the infection. I was part of a tutorial from the Insidium guys, and I really liked it. I've done some stuff, and I've done this elephant, and that's what we're going to have a look at today. So let me show it to you in big. It's here. That's here. Alright, so things happens that the whole of the elephant gets deformed very organically by an explosion that is coming from the back, and it's like wind blowing through it. So that's what we will create today together. All right, so the first thing is I will do it on an elephant also, but I may have to change if it's lagging, if it's too hard. I will keep it like so that we can change it in case of. Anyway, let's go and let's try to find my elephant. It's here. So here we have the elephant. We will subdivide it a little bit so that it's you will understand why later. I will explain you. But I will remove the eyes because I don't need the eyes. We will do connect and delete, and that's too much. That's the thing, that's too much. So what we will do is we will come back, and on our subdivision we will just put one. We will have this. That should be enough. If I do two, it will be too much for the sake of the tutorial. For your things, I advise you to do more, but for now you should really have it. For the tutorial we should have it like this, because otherwise it's gonna lag, it's gonna be a bit hard. So that's it. I will put it like about half the size, call it elephant, and remove the material which we don't need for now. Okay, so what we need is an Xparticle system, and we need to create an explosion. For this we need to go to the dynamic, use the exposure effects, and on our exposure effects we will resize it slightly so that it's actually encompassing just our elephant, and maybe a little bit more here. That should be fine, and it doesn't need to be so high either, because really we're not going to render the explosion. We will just render how it moves the particles. So you will see what I'm talking about in a second. I'm going to try to go a bit fast because it's like, I don't know, like the 5th time I have to re-record this tutorial. I have had a lot of trouble with my sound, with the computer lagging, not working. So I'm keeping my finger crossed that this one is working, and that's going to be my last try at making it. Anyway, here we are. We don't need to see the elephant for now. We'll come back to it in a second, but let's do an explosion. What I've done is I've changed the voxel size. It was 3 on default. I put 6 here. We don't need much definition for it, so that should be fine. I will go to my emitter. We will use a circle emitter. We'll make it a bit smaller. position it at the back of our thing here. And this emitter can be a ring only, so that if I do that, it's going on the wrong way. We need minus Z here. No, it should, yeah, here. Sorry. What did I say? Yeah, minus Z. That's funny. Okay, so that's here. It's coming. Actually, on the Z direction, I don't know why it says minus Z. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's what we want. So here we are. We have this, and if we do 3D, we can see, that's quite interesting here. We can see that the cone angle of our particle, of our emission, how it goes here. All right, good. So we have something that we want. It should encompass about the elephant. I say about because we will see that it doesn't need to really do it. We will see that later on. So that's it. Now this particle are not making an explosion at the moment, is because we lack two things. First, we need to give them we need to make them becoming a source, but even doing this, they still don't create an explosion. The second is that they need some fuel on the extended data here. Sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. I will want to do that later on, but let's put, like, I don't know, 5, and let's see what it does. So it starts to create an explosion. This, apparently I pull it a little bit out, so we're gonna put it straight away inside. It creates an explosion, and that's good. That's about what we want, but the explosion is not big enough compared to what it could be. First, what I will do is, I think we will just do one shot, and maybe, like, I don't know, like 35 particle, something like that. Alright, and now these, we're going to give them like a proper radius, because here our exposure effects is a voxel size of 6, so you will see that by making the particle bigger, it will create a bigger explosion here. Very good. That should be fine. That may be a bit fast, so we'll go to my thing and I will reduce the speed a little bit and see what happens here. They're not as fast, and they start to go up. So we'll go to my exposure effects, and on the simulation I will reduce a little bit this, and they will go less up. Can even like take it off, because I want my motion to be more motion like a wind rather than a thing that goes up when it will take my elephant. And that's not too bad. I think my cone is a bit too big, and that my emitter needs a bit more, I think a little bit more. That should be better. That's not bad at all. I also don't want my particles to emit all the time, so from, let's say, frame 50 we wanted them to die. We could give them a little bit of variation, so that's a bit more organic. Even for the speed, we could have a little bit of variation on this. Let's have a look at this. Maybe I don't need to see the cone anymore. Let's have a look at that. My object, I can remove this, and let's see how it takes my elephant. So it doesn't take the whole of it, so I will make my radius a little bit bigger and see what it does if I do that. So now it will take the whole of my elephant, and everything will be taken. So I don't want my animation to be too long, so I will add a tiny bit more speed again, let's say 100, and I hope maybe like in 120 frame this is done. We can retime this, all this can be retimed later on if we want. I still believe that they are not big enough. I want to put them at 13, 14, 15, and I will still add a tiny bit more, 60 maybe. And I could not do the ring only also. Let's have a look if I just don't do the ring only, what it does. Maybe I don't need to do the ring only. I will not do the ring only so that it takes more my elephant. And then they start to rise. Hit. I will put it a little bit below and I will make it go a tiny bit up like this. Let's have a look at this. Yeah. So now my elephant is all encompassed by the thing. Okay. So let's save this. I'm gonna save it on top of the former one. Here we are. Okay, so now that our elephant, our explosion effects is done, we can hide it for now. And what we want is a new emitter. Emit from object, put our elephant into the object. We want the particle to stick to the elephant. You will see why. Let's put the elephant again. And we want them to be creating one particle per source element. If I go one up, it will give us this. And you can see that is like creating one particle for that. So that's why at the beginning I didn't want to have too much subdivision, because it would be too much on it for the sake of this tutorial. So here we are good. We have what we want. We have one particle per source. We'll change the display a little bit because when well, let's first speak about what's gonna happen. So this explosion will move the particle that have been stuck to the surface of this elephant. But at the moment, if I do this, we can see that nothing happened. Even if I reveal this, my particles are not moving at all. Nothing is happening because they need to be advected. So we go to advection and we do advect here. And if I do that, you will see that something will happen, is that my explosion is not working. However, we can see that it starts to affect my particle. Let's change the visual for this, the display, to arrows, so that we see better what happens. And you see like the arrows now have changed, but this is not working the way it was working before. So the reason why is that's explosion, and that's, let's rename that elephant. My explosion effect has been affected by the advection that we've just done. So what I need to do is I need to go to the modifier and exclude the explosion effects. Now when I do that, my explosion is working properly, and we can see that it affects like the arrows. It affects the color at the moment, because here it says color. If I remove all these, which I don't need to, I need only the velocity to be affected. Now you will see it looks like nothing is happening, and it's true, nothing is happening. Is because my particles are actually stuck to the elephant. So for these, what I need to do is go to the extended data and use rotation. We use tangential here, and now we will see that they start to move with the explosion. I can hide my explosion, and we can see that it's starting to move my particles here on my elephant, which is exactly what we want. So basically the effect is more or less done. That's it. That's what we want. What I will do is after a certain time, like maybe like 30 or something, I don't know if we need to do that, but I will do it on my fuel here. I will put a keyframe and go and put it back to 0, so that it doesn't emit, and maybe it will help with not lagging too much later on. So here it's okay. If I see it still do what it has to do, it still affects everything, and my elephant is being distorted the way we want. Okay, wonderful. So I'm saving. That's good. So here we could almost go on and do what I could do is I could go and do a cache. It will take a few seconds, but before that I will make use of a generator. So let me explain two things. I'm using Arnold to render. With Arnold, we can render the geometry at render time by using this, and here putting maybe if I do a square, and I don't know the dimension, but I believe something like that should be good. And if I put this cube in the custom shape here at render time, these will be created. So let me quickly put a light. We will do that. Light kit browser here. I'm very lazy these days. Let's use an easy one. Top right light here. Remove the sphere. Have a look at what I have here. Okay. So if I go on here, I think it should start to create some geometry. It doesn't, because I need to change the radius on here. But here you see it start to come. If I do like 30 or something like that, we will see them very well. So that would be the way I would render my geometry if I was to do this right now using Arnold. But because we're not using Arnold, I'm not going to do that. So I will remove this. I will remove this altogether here, and I will do the old way, which is using a generator. We use a generator. Generator needs an emitter. We will render instances and geometry only. We don't need to render the particles. And we need to put our cube underneath the generator. Now, of course, it will start to lag a little bit more. So I will save in case of we have a problem. If we have a problem, I will be able to come back to this point. So let's have a look. Here, if I do, we can see that we have. Let me hide the actual explosion. I don't need to see the elephant, the particles. I don't need to see them. Just need to see the geometry. That's fine. And let's have a look at what happens here if I click show this on our view. And here we are. We have our elephant. Okay, I'm going to put a smaller scale. It's lagging when I'm recording at the same time as I'm doing this, and with the I will put like, I don't know, like 50%. Here I will put a little bit bigger. It doesn't matter for the quality, but yeah, at least we see what we're starting to get. So that's it. Maybe I could render a region also only. That would be easier. on my processor. Alright, so here we are. The cubes are a bit too small. Maybe we could put them like, I don't know, like 4, 4, and I don't know, let's stop that, and 20, 15, I don't know, let's say 16, and that's it. And basically we are done with the thing. Of course, what you would need to do if you were to render this is you would have to probably like cache the animation, which we will do. Let's do it. I will do that now. I will put back. I will do a cache object here. It's very easy. We just need to go to cache. Before I would cache, if I was to do a proper animation, I would probably go to my simulation and play with the sim scale and speed, and I would probably will want to go to my exposure and on my exposure here, and use with the retiming. I would probably do that, so you could have like go very fast and then put a keyframe. Actually, let's do it, even though it might not work properly, but let's do that. Let's retime from here and say like, okay, like maybe like in 10 frame, let's go to like something like 17 retiming, and let that happen after. And that's what we will do. We will cache that and see what happens after, and I'll be back after caching. So for the cache, it's very easy. Basically, you just need to set up where you want your cache and build cache. So that's it, and it should be fairly quick. I could almost wait with you, but I will not. So I will just pause, and I'll see you in a minute. So that's it. This is cached, and we have our work being done. Now it's just a matter of I guess just rendering. So there is a few things you can have a look at before rendering, which would be to create a camera move. Obviously you could also create a material, put it on your generator, and make sure that everything is good. As I mentioned you before, the cube should be having like some fillets and stuff, like being very much nicer. For the last render, I put the cubes a lot bigger now, and then you could go and render the whole animation, and bring it into After Effects, and have fun compositing with some lights, and that's it. Basically, this is done. You have the technique, which is an amazing technique, to be honest. I'm very happy to have discovered this thing. It's really great. Advecting particles, moving the particle using the rotation, really in the extent, using the rotation here, and that's it. Basically, it makes the trick. It's beautiful. It's lovely, and I hope you have had fun learning this technique, and that you're going to do amazing thing with it. Please show us what you're doing. Share with us, and follow me on the Instagram page, please. That would be great, and I'll see you soon again.